there will be a period of time when all the people are going to have resurrection from the dead. They're going to come back. He's looking at me. He's like, really? When is this due to happen? I said, any day now. I mean, it could be in the blink of an eye. We just got to do something to make it faster. But we're again. He says, wow, I wish I would have known this. You know how upset I've been. This has been so terrible for me. I wish I would have known there's a possibility for him to come back. I mean, let me know if there's anything I could do. It's like, as a guy totally fry, nothing, no affiliation other than the tefillin strapping. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that we had an inspiration last week, and from all those that I know that were doing it was Shloime Rutman has been involved in getting things moving, so he should give us a report of what he's been getting, and hopefully that can serve some inspiration for us.
I've been getting some agreements from Rabbanim outside Lubavitch to get involved, side with recordings and side with also participating in a conference,
like a Zoom.
Must for the kids, which week we're
yeah, they didn't say live. It could be live also, but they're ready to get together to make a conference on the need to ask for Mashiach. One of them are actually meeting a Rebbe Mitzvah Shem this coming Tuesday, who has a few 100,000 Chassidim, and if I can get him excited about the idea, that would definitely be a big help, because
a Rebbe with a few 100,000 Chassidim sounds like a big deal.
That's what they claim anyway. I don't
and he's giving you a meeting.
Yeah. But so far, the first recording that I got was from a Lubavitcher Rav. He spoke a little bit long. It's very hard to, some of them, 2-3 minutes, it's a little bit hard to boil down exactly the words to just that limited amount of time for some people anyway. So I took whatever he gave me. It was like a 15-minute speech. He spoke about, he said a Meiser, and then it was very good, I think, for Weltische people. It would be a good video, but I figured I didn't want to put it out because I figured we may as well wait till we have some more and then publicizing it. But they're very eager. I think they're a lot more than we imagine. Possibly, they're pretty eager to help and to get involved to a certain extent. I don't know if they'll get up there and say, guys, hey, listen, Lubavitch Rebbe's Mashiach, let's just get on board. They won't say it that way, but they definitely, I think, agree and realize that there is a need for us to get together and all collectively push for the Gula to come faster, which is a very big step.
Shloime sent me a request. What's that?
We'd love to hear from Shloime an update on the Total's campaign.
It's my fault I didn't ping him earlier, but I just did it now when we started. But still, maybe he'll get on. It would be nice. If not, maybe I'll call him. But anyway, I just want to tell you a couple of things he asked for. I'm going to put it onto the group, and if anybody's game to grab one or two of these things, it would make a big difference. Because sometimes we want to know what we can do. This is something. He asked that number one, everyone fulfill their achlata to get 5 friends to sign up. 2, join the group. That's the one he sent out today. A lot of people joined the second group. What is it called? The influencers. That's very good. I saw a lot of people join it. You need 2 volunteers to get 15 chevra that received the Dvar Malchus to take a picture of themselves holding it. Collect those pictures, then stay in touch with them. And he wants to be diversified as different types of people, so they could use it as a marketing to show people what's going on. Number 4, need 1 volunteer to run another 3 volunteers to gain 10 written 2 sentences endorsements from high-profile people. Again, please diversify for the project. 5 videos of celebrities endorsing the project. So it's just footwork, to a practical thing. We can get it done. Make some phone calls, reach out to some people, not stop until we get it. Yeah. So these are. I'm going to send it to the group.
When you say celebrities, you mean Lubavitch celebrities? What are you talking about?
You didn't.
Which celebrities are we talking about?
He didn't say, but I think the idea is that
Who's learning? The program has been, the Total's program was geared more towards Anash and to people that are learning. I mean,
so let it be.
It hasn't been taken out to Amcha as far as I know.
So what's wrong with Lubavitch celebrities?
No, that's good. I'm just wondering, just clarify that we're looking at.
I just want to say I was in Long Beach last week, and they have a case of the printouts there, right at the door when you come into the shul, and I saw it on the tables, and I saw people picking it up on the way out, and it was nice.
Maybe if you talk to Danny Finkelman, if anyone knows him, he knows celebrities outside Lubavitch also, that maybe he could somehow get a clip from singers and things like that.
But I think it should be, like Rabbi Wolf was saying, maybe dafke inside Lubavitch celebrities.
No, this program, I mean, for people that are learning it, that's what you're dealing with. You want people that have been learning it and been engaged, and they're speaking about it. Yes.
I'd be very interested to hear how the shiurim amongst other Chabad houses have been. Just if there's anyone here that has actually started a shiur, and what has been the feedback from the people, the Balabatim, be very, very curious to know.
So, there has to be much more people that are learning than are actually officially signed up. I give a shiur now Shabbos afternoon before Mincha, and whatever, it's between 20 to 30 people coming up. I would say that probably 60 or 70% of the people that are come up have never signed up officially to learn. They're coming Shabbos afternoon and they're learning. And then I should have, I told them about the website, but I didn't encourage everybody to go and actually put in your time. So it's just important for us to keep in mind the numbers of people that are learning are much more than what we might think are officially signed up. Important to know. And for instance, if you take a look at Rabbi Jacobson, Yossi Jacobson's shiur. So his first one, for instance, which is on YouTube, has 5,000. I mean, I saw yesterday 5,500. Doesn't mean that people sat and listened to the whole shiur, but at least there's 5,500 clicks. And B'Shas he gave it, I think he had over 1,000 people on the Zoom. So that was the first one. I haven't looked at the second one. So stuff is being put out there. Plus, people are giving shiurim and putting. I'm not doing a shiur in this during the week, so I don't have a recording of it. But these are all. I'm just showing that the influence of it is actually going out, and it's really, really huge. But I feel like we need to keep the energy and keep the. We're saying we have to figure out now some kind of a follow up to this amazing Tut Alt program. That when Chas v'Shalom of Gimmel Tammuz comes about, we haven't seen the full Geula. That all this amazing learning should flow into a continuous learning, and I don't know if anybody has thought about that. And I'm sure Shlomi has. Or what's on the? Maybe we can give suggestions and think of something. That's what I think is so important now to start preparing for that. Anybody have any thoughts?
I hope it hurts you to even think of that.
It does.
Actually, I did think about it, by the way. They should have maybe a different speaker every month or every couple of weeks. The same idea, but just continue it. I'd be his girl.
I know that Shlomi is thinking about these things actively. Tomorrow night at 9:30, there's going to be a panel of 3 JLI writers that are going to answer questions. And one of the questions that we're considering, it's not necessarily going to be asked, but we're considering one of the questions is what happens next? What is going to be the continued push for learning? But also remember that our expectation is that Mashiach is here by Gimmel Tammuz. We have to remember what the Frierdiker Rebbe says about the Parshas V'Haloischa, that yes, that sometimes the Nalaho on and after Yom Echad, but during that Yom Echad, we set up our camp fully. So we fully expect that Mashiach is here by Gimmel Tammuz. We don't have to sit here and plan for what's going to be the Bring Mashiach plan post Gimmel Tammuz. But meanwhile, we are sitting here in our Yom Echad, even though we fully expect that there'll be Nalaho Hanan tomorrow morning. And during this Yom Echad, we're setting up our tent. So yeah, it's something I know that Shlomi is thinking about actively.
Someone was telling me last night, Zalman Marcus was saying that we have to plan, we have to make goalless plans because that's how you bring Mashiach. So it's like it's by making those plans to bring Mashiach that makes it happen. And
Yeah,
yet,
that's precisely what the Frierdiker Rebbe said.
counterintuitive.
So I want to share something that I didn't hear much about in the whole Tut Alt campaign. And that's Benegeya to the fact that the Siyum is going to be the Siyum of Shnas Arboim. It's been mentioned here and there, but we didn't make a very big shtudim about it. Then if you go back and look at the Sichos, which is what I was just doing, everybody was asking, what do you have to say about it? I was looking at those Sichos from Tafshin Nun, the Shabbos Mavarchim Shvat, and then there's the Sicha of Ches Shvat, and the Yud Shvat Sichos of Shnas Arboim. And the Rebbe talked incredible Asias. I mean, first of all, you don't need anything more than the fact that when it came to Vayhi Arboim Shana, the Ashti Asar Chedesh, the Echad LaChedesh, so Meish Rabbeinu said, Rav Lochem Shebes Bahar Hazeh, Pnu Usulachem. It's time to move. And the Rebbe said at the time that the Nasi Ador stands up and says to us, Rav Lochem Shebes Bahar Hazeh. Says all the Nasim of Chabad stand up, and he says specifically the Nasi that we don't say his name beferish, we say it's just beremes. And he says, Rav Lochem Shebes Bahar Hazeh, it's time to move, it's time for Mashiach to come. And the Rebbe said that we have to strengthen our tzipiyah l'Mashiach. We have to be mechaka l'biyasei. And the Rebbe talked about opening 40 moistes and matayv 1,000 moistes. But the Rebbe gave a specific idea that we have to strengthen our tzipiyah and our awaiting for Bias HaMashiach, because this is the time. And the Rebbe gave a biur. The biur was that means that the Gilui Milmaila happens right at Matan Torah. But after 40 years, we are able to assimilate it Milmata. And the Mata, the Talmud, is Koyi Madaita de Rabbe. He now transposes himself into the realm of his master. The Talmud becomes like the master. He's able to perceive the Lakus the way the master could perceive it. So 40 years of learning Rambam, which is the Rebbe's Era, and 40 years of learning the two prakim of Rambam and Mashiach 40 times. This is an incredible milestone. It seems to me that this Gimmel Tammuz is going to be a very special Gimmel Tammuz. We're going to make the Siyum of Arboim Shnin on Gimmel Tammuz. Gimmel Tammuz is the Rebbe's Tov, and we're going to be learning Mashiach with the Rebbe's Sichos. The Rebbe Tachibik given him ganzen Leben, the Mayr Lazar is Bias HaMashiach. So his whole life is about Bias HaMashiach. And here we're coming into 40 years of the Rebbe's Zerah to learn Rambam, 30 years of the Rebbe's Zerah to learn the Sichos of Rambam, of the Sichos about Mashiach. And we're going to be learning those two prakim for the 40th time. I mean, those among us who have learned it 40 times, but even though Mem Dalet I was around, I was still a child. But for 40 years of learning these prakim of Mashiach, 30 years of learning the Sichos, bringing it all together, this Gimmel Tammuz is doch a gewaldige Ketag. The Yisraelis of this Gimmel Tammuz is la'ela li'ela. And I think this is right now the objective. We are, and not to take away from everything that we're doing now, but just like a month and a half before Chof Ches Nisan, we started planning for Chof Ches Nisan. It's time to plan for this incredible Gimmel Tammuz. It's going to be the day. Now, we're not Mechasher Kitzin, but the Rebbe said very clearly that we're past the period of Mechasher Kitzin. Since the Frierdiker Rebbe said Li'alta L'Tshuva, Li'alta L'Geula, we already entered the Tkufa of Mashiach. So we're past that already. The Rebbe already said Tshuva happened too. So Eina Davar Tali El B'Tshuva, Tshuva is complete as well. So it's really time to whip up a great Yisraelis and somehow to plan to learn the last three prakim of Rambam together on Gimmel Tammuz in a global, universal way and make a Siyum Aroy Lishmei. That's literally going to be a springboard for Bias HaMashiach. I think we have to start wrapping our minds around that. That's the next step. And this is in conjunction with everything that we're doing right now.
Beautiful.
I'm just thinking that's an interesting thing. Maybe we have like people around the world teaching the different halachas on this massive one. As we start from Perek Yud, you're saying the last 3 prakim because you learned the last 3 prakim, but I think the emphasis probably is on the last 2, which is negate to be a Mashiach. So on Perek Yud Aleph that you have halacha. Oh, you're saying mitzad limud Rambam you're learning 3 prakim. Mitzad the Indian of Mashiach, at least the last 2 prakim, where you start a share for 24 hours. I don't know if 24 hours, whatever. A share going through various different people that know beforehand and prepare it really well, and give a share on the different halachas. So it's a global learning together of those, and concluding with
something like that. And I do think it needs to be all 3, because let's not forget that Limud Harambam we come to Mashiach through his masters to our Nasi. Kabbalah's Pnei Melech HaMashiach means Kabbalah's HaMalchus. And if the Tzav Hashah is Kabbalah's Pnei Melech HaMashiach, then we have to be Makabal the Oil Malchusa, which is Kablu Alai Kablu Alechem El Mitzvosai. So learning the 3 prakim of Rambam, even if it's not directly, even if not all 3 prakim are about Mashiach, this is what we're doing on Gimmel Tammuz. We're making the Siyum. So I started thinking about this because I'm writing the JLI stream for the To Adults campaign. And I'm now finishing the 6th lesson because it all has to be done in advance. It will be published in time. And as I finish the 6th lesson, I start wrapping my mind around what's happening as the Olam finishes this 6th lesson. What is that final tapara diplacho? What is that final message that we want to reach? That's that crescendo moment. And I started thinking, you have here Siyum Harambam, which is the Rebbe Zerah. You have Gimmel Tammuz, the Rebbe Zatov. Gimmel Tammuz is a Chag HaGeula, the Rebbe established that all the way back from Kastrama. And you have the learning of Mashiach 30 years, putting it all together at once. And then this morning it dawned on me, Arboim Shana. Arboim Shana, wow. I mean, I don't even know if any of us wrapped our mind around how incredible this project was when we started on Chof on Kayach Nisan, that we didn't realize where it's leading to. This is mamish. I can just see the Rebbe saying a sicha this year, Gimmel Tammuz, and telling us, Kinderlach, let's hop on the clouds. We're going, because every sicha the Rebbe said, the Rebbe pulled together exactly such things. These things weren't stam like a kunz by the Rebbe. By the way, Sama Maimer Muzker. I once heard somebody say, maybe it wasn't. I don't remember where, if I read it or I heard it. But when I listened to it and thought about it, it was a game changer for me. When I was a child, I remember listening to the Fabrengas, being by the Fabrengas. The first 2 sichas were always the cute sichas in my mind. I hate to say this word about the Rebbe's sicha, but this was where the Rebbe came out with all these very interesting remazim from the day, like this past Shabbos. Was Shabbos Chazak, and it was Shabbos Mechubarim, and it was Shabbos Mevarchim. It means a powerful bracha in double, plus Mechubarim with unity. And I felt so good. I pulled together 4 different things. I told my Balabatim, wow, what a great Shabbos. So it was like a kunz. Somebody said to me, no. You look at the Rebbe's sichos, you see the Rebbe's mizbeinen, the Rebbe's meditating. What happens when you're mizbeinen? You're mizbeinen in an Indian, and suddenly the Indian opens up for you, and new depths come out, and new connections come out, and you see it with crystal clarity. And then you share with someone all of the things you saw, and it sounds like you just were creatively pulling together nice strings from different places. That's not what happened. You thought deeply into this Indian, you got such fundamental clarity on it that it just opened up for you in ways that it links up with everything else in Torah. Because Torah is a makom of achtos, so everything links up with everything else. So when the Rebbe said these sichas, the Rebbe wasn't proving a kunz, showing a kunz that he can pull together the Muslim from different places. The sicha the Rebbe explains about the Indian of Arboim when in Perek Shishi, which we're coming up this Shabbos, Perek Shishi of Perkei Avos, and the Rebbe explains the Indian of Arboim there too, and the way that Rebbe delves into Arboim in so many different ways, so many different facets. You see clearly that Rebbe tzichan eingetan in Arboim, and Pashat in an Eifen of Das Tachten pulled together so many different strings till he just saw Arboim with such crystal clarity that he wanted to share with us with a chayas. I have to show you what's going on here. How many different parts to this Shabbos flow back into the concept of Arboim and how it comes together. And it was Chof, I believe it was the 40th yard site of the Rebbe's father, of Leibik. So, and it all tied together. The same thing here. This Gimmel Tammuz, it's all tying together. And if we stop and think about what's actually happening this Gimmel Tammuz, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And there's no doubt in my mind that this is how the Rebbe wants us to think about Gimmel Tammuz coming up. Not that we're giving up on Kilishos Kivina Kol Hayom, that Mashiach is coming today. But if Chas v'Shalom is not here by Gimmel Tammuz, that's the day that we have to whip up a major recitals. And yes, all 3 prakim, and with an emphasis on the last 2 prakim, and no major pulpulim, because we're going to lose the Eilam. We need to have it move along. We need to have, exciting pninim on each section of halacha. And there are some halachas in the last 2 prakim that are very long, and so we can break it up and have different people say different parts. But the ikka should be that it should build up to a crescendo, that the final halacha and the Siyum Askifin has Haschala Hashlama, that the first halacha should be an amazing thing. There should be music. I mean, it should be a Welt, it should be a world event.
Beyond Chabad, beyond Lubavitch.
I wasn't even thinking that. I mean, right now I'm thinking about the Tutals campaign. That if we can draw people in from all over, great. Because after all, what's Mashiach if not Achdus?
You can maybe
not just
you can maybe combine what we were talking about last week and the Siyum Harambam as the platform for this. So you make a global Siyum Harambam online, especially in the days of Zoom. So do a global Siyum Harambam that with all the pop and fanfare, and you can also include in some way Ilui Nishmas, the 45 Kedoshim of Lag BaOmer, which will automatically bring in a lot more people. And instead of trying to do what we were talking about last week, which seemed like a mammoth effort and no one really knew how to get it off the ground, this might be the catalyst to get something like that off the ground and do it all together.
Good. So maybe we can have 45 speakers on those 3 prakim of Rambam, if each one knows to speak only 5-10 minutes.
Either that, or you could do different streams like you had for Tutals. There were 6 different streams. You could do that, and then it finishes off with everyone coming into one stream for the actual Siyum. So people could tune into something that speaks to them. For someone it's more Nigla, someone it's more Kabbalah, someone it's more Chassidus. And you could have speakers across the gamut that will give shiurim. I don't know if it has to be 45, but it could be different streams to appeal to all different types of Yidden.
Morty, I like your idea. I have a question. I'm sure in the past there were some big Siyum Harambams that went on. Does anybody know who we could contact maybe and join forces and be a force behind them? They have experience.
There have been people in I don't know who they are, the Bavishers, who were very engaged and involved in visiting Rabbanim and inviting them from Borough Park, from this to previous years, Siyum Rambam. I don't know who they are, but there definitely was like a whole, thing about it. Huh?
Rabbi Butman was always the Reish of was always in all these different Abbanim. I always remember him walking closer and closer till he's breathing down the neck of the rabbi speaking. When he got too long, he'd inch his way from the end of the pulpit. He'd get like right under their face till they realized they have to stop speaking. But growing up, it was always all these different Abbanim in the Hilton Hotel in Manhattan, with these fancy hotels.
So who pulled that off? Who pulled it together? Someone did it, and why would they not want to do it again with our help, with our backing?
I think if I could just pipe in for a second, we've been spending a couple of weeks talking about how to reach the larger oilam, but we need to make sure that we don't drop the oilam that we have. The Lubavitch oilam responded amazingly to the Chof Sivan, Chof Nissen, and we have access to those. So I think we get too stuck on preparing a huge program for everyone else. We're throwing away what we don't have for what we do have. So, and this, because we're grinding the same wheels over and over again, how to reach the bigger oilam, but we have an oilam that's ready and waiting for us. So I think we have to, maybe at the same time as figuring out how to reach the main olam, focus on at least what we do have, and a huge follow-up to the previous 24 hours, together with everything that Rabbi Gurkov was saying. In my, I am by far one of the younger ones over here, so who gave me the reshus to speak, but what am I going to do? I can hold my tongue. I think we have to really zoom in on who we have and think about who we don't have, but not lose who we do have.
One direction you could go is, I think it was last year, Chayenu did a Zoom Siyum because it was the end of it was a Siyum on one perek. And they have the whole, if you speak to Yossi Pelz or Michal Goldman from Chayenu, they have the whole mailing list of people that learn Chayenu either from the publication or online is already one whole stream that you get participating, and that's not just Anash, but it's also a lot of Mekuravim that are learning Chitas and Rambam every day through Chayenu, and would definitely participate in some kind of a global Siyum like this. And that's already a program that you have in place. And they did the Siyum last year with tremendous success. So you get them involved in something like this, I'm sure there would be game. And mitzad the headquarters, as Leza mentioned, the whole big thing of 40 years, a 40th Siyum, it's something that should be done globally anyway, regardless of the Mashiach campaign aspect of it. But of course, to bring the two together is.
I made a note of that, Morty. That's a good idea. I met a pilot. Actually, I took a picture. I met a pilot, a United Airlines pilot. And he has a picture of himself. He has his Chayenu in front of him with the Rambam open, and the instruments, the flight instruments in front of him. He took a picture. He sent it to Chayenu himself because he realized the beauty of it. Someone like that would be part of it. All these, it's true. It's a massive group of people learning Rambam. So by the way, the Perek Echad guys can join in the Siyum, but they have to be invited.
I could speak to Yossi Pelz if we have a program in place. I could speak to him. I'm sure he'll be very happy to get to involve Chayenu's resources in this.
Rabbi Wolf, you're working on graphics, yes?
I'm working on I have a guy working on the 45 on Geula 45 something. I'm waiting for him. He should have something for me today.
So could we incorporate this into that, or should we keep it separate?
I'm a little afraid that we're missing. I think we should. The Tut Out should end with a bang on Siyum Harambam, like Rabbi Gurko has been saying. And I think we should begin brewing a program on 45 Geula simultaneously and together, because I think has been mentioned by what was it, Chabad Frisco. That I think if we'll mish everything together, we're not going to have much on either end. I think there needs to be a Sima slave individually to the two Indiana.
I tried changing my name, but it doesn't let me.
What I can do.
What is your name?
My name is Mandy Kesselman.
Oh, okay. So no, I think so. I think you're right. I think either campaign will go bigger if we put them individually. A geula, a geschrei for Yidden that we need Mashiach is independent of Limud Harambam. I mean, not the etzem. Everything is connected, but it could be and should be and has an energy to go bigger and on its own without the Limud Harambam. And the Limud Harambam, benegay to the Tut Alts, has its own opinion. That makes more sense to me. But again, I'm not I'm just a voice over here amongst everybody else. He comes from with Hamshachas from München, so it's a whole different story.
I'm just trying to catch on what's going on.
So an idea was presented that as a conclusion for the Tut Alts, a huge Siyum Harambam should take place as a grand finale, and that we're all learning together the three last Parakim in Rambam, different Magidei Shir. Everyone's saying very short, but we're learning the three Parakim together because the amazing idea of 40 years of Limud Rambam to coming together with Gimmel Tammuz, to come together with this big create that our next focus should be something massive on Gimmel Tammuz with the Siyum Harambam.
But the inspiration behind it Blazer, can you?
I think also we forgot there's 80 years since Chof Sivan. Also, you can throw that in.
There are a lot of good dates. It's 3,333 years since Matan Torah. One look for dates, Baruch Hashem, is the plenty.
Maybe another thing also to talk about is Gimmel Tammuz we're finishing. What are we starting? So we did these 4 sichos from the Dvar Malchus, and I don't know if the Tutals is up to the next thing, but maybe we have another few sichos. What are we launching next? Which sichos are we going to next?
Yeah, we spoke about that earlier.
Oh, sorry.
No. We're looking for something. We don't have what is it? But
because I heard you say that like Rabbi Jacobson had 1,000 people. I mean, so if we launch another few sichos or another, I guess you had this conversation, but we finish with one and Siyum Harambam, and what are we starting next? One idea, and I know it's Gimmel Tammuz, is Hilchos Bais Habichira, to really work with Hilchos Bais Habichira, starting from Gimmel Tammuz, add a little bit of time to it, and finishing with Tisha B'Av, which is definitely a Mashiach day, and we do a comprehensive.
That's awesome. That really is awesome. That
is a very good idea, Mendy. I think the bottom line is if we continue pushing the same thing over again, we're going to lose interest. People will bleed away. We have to come up with new ideas.
Hilchos Bais Habichira
new concepts. Hilchos Bais Habichira is great because it goes into a new area and we continue to learn. We continue learning, but we're learning with a new subject, and so people won't fall away.
I know JLI has work on Hilchos Bais Habichira. I've given in my Chabad house those shiurim, so that could be a starting point. And Hilchos Bais Habichira kind of addresses a little bit of a different side of the brain. It's like the autistic, the people that it's like a very, and can be done with children. I know in Camp Yisrael Montreal in my day they did a Mishnayos. They actually built a model based on Mikdash. So there's a lot that could be worked with very grounded.
There's also virtual reality of the Beis Hamikdash.
There are a lot of programs that are coming out of Israel. These that have the visuals, like
amazing
tour of the Beis Hamikdash.
It feels like you're there.
Yeah, they're very. Some of them are very, very powerful.
You also have, it's a little bit sounds more like I don't know, the way the person speaks. It sounds more like yeshivish kind of whatever. Very beautiful one where they do a 3D. They take you in and very, very, very. You know what I'm talking about? They were showing it all over, sending it. They take you in and it looks. They go into the model, but it's like made huge, and it's they go through all the parts of the Beis Hamikdash. Very geschmack.
So the nice thing is there's a lot of materials already out there.
Maybe in addition to the Bais Habichira, once Gimmel Tammuz comes up, if it doesn't, we're still in Galus, Chas v'Shalom. Then maybe at that point, if we reach a point where we've learned these amongst us and our families, maybe at that point we can launch the next level of that, which is to go and start focusing on spreading the word, on teaching people outside Lubavitch.
Great idea. I was actually thinking about that. When Mendy brought up about the next step, I was thinking that if we continue with learning, we'll lose people. So maybe we should focus on Hafatzah Samiyana Splutza. Then Mendy came up with the idea that we can continue learning, but in a different thrust. So I said, great. Hataka, maybe after Tisha B'Av, we need to be thinking about Hafatzah Samiyana Splutza. And then the next stage is going to be from Tisha B'Av to Chayenu or something like that. Again, without compromising on the reality that this is going to be Achar Bias HaMashiach.
But learning is always important for yourself, and the drive to spread and this and that. I don't know how much time, maybe people are very limited in their time, but it's lil moed l'lamed. Once you're not learning yourself, if we got such a crowd learning,
the nekuda is that this is not like it used to be that we were learning. Everything that's being done is to bring Mashiach. It's limud Torah for the point of bringing Mashiach. That's the difference. That's the difference between all these things. Everything we're doing, the Farbrengen is not just that Farbrengen, it's to bring Mashiach. So it's a twist. It's like it's got the proper focus.
So a while back we were speaking that just like it was this big 24-hour Verbringen for Anash, for internally, at one point we spoke that how about organizing a day like this with having people not from Chabad speak about Mashiach, speak about the Beis Hamikdash, Gedolim, whatever, Shishivas, Fadisha, Rabbanim, and so on, including some from the Baruch, to make it 24-hour, the 48 Balemoyach, they should Balemoychim, they should be for the whole world. And that's when you can launch the learning for the 3 weeks, Hilchos Bais Hamikdash, the virtual programs, and come up with a whole schedule maybe of shiurim and visual and so on and so forth. This could be tied in, and that's when you bring it to the chutzah, that's when you involve everybody.
Perhaps it could be connected to the simple Amar Reb Shimon. It's shaykh to Lag Ba'oim and to Reb Shimon Bar Yochai also, because again, we were connecting it to the 45. Is that Reb Shimon Bar Yochai is the one that says that Vikshur Salakem is David Malcolm, that Yidden need to ask. And Reb Shimon Menassi is the one who adds that. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says that what was the lashon over there? That B'shloisha Dvarim Ma'asu, and the Medaf is Sirig bringen. So if it launches right into Hilchos Bais Habichira, how can you want the Beis Hamikdash to base garnish wegen them? Darf man lernen wegen them. Lernen wegen the Beis Hamikdash. Lernen wegen, so you bring up that as part of the inspiration. I think would be a good thing.
It looks like there's
Is the fire from the Mizbeach?
Yeah.
Halavai.
This is now.
Yeah, unfortunately it's a rocket. But going back to if we want it to happen, we're going to have to get somebody who's going to make it happen.
Yes, we meet every week.
To bring it down to Olam HaMaaseh, I think it would be important.
So
get Shloimi, who's going to, by that time, is going to be basically finished with his campaign Tutals and starting getting involved in his Hampshire to bring the Tutals to the world, such as having a worldwide Verbringen and launching the learning in the 3 weeks of Beis Hamikdash with the Rebbe Zok, it needs the Meshugala Oisadova, somebody who is going to be fully committed to make it happen. Otherwise, it is a Kedera de Beishutfe. The Gemara tells the Kedera de Beishutfe is the cooking it. That's verbrennt. Unfortunately, by us, I find that Kedera de Beishutfe without even putting it on the fire. We read them temple, but it doesn't go much further than that. So that's, I think, a key component in all these conversations to push it to the placha to make it happen. And this takes a person. If not, it's not going to happen, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, whatever happened with the 45 pieces?
We spoke in the beginning, so we have someone has a few, but we don't. We're nowhere close. I'm getting graphics today, so hopefully that'll give a big boost.
Okay, I was up. What's his name? Shalom Ber Baumgarten's nephew's on. I know they had a conversation with Shalom Ber, and I know there was a conversation with the Merkez 302 that he wanted to get something concrete, an actual proposal, and he was going to look into it and try to get it further. Has anything happened with this?
Well, Schomberg said that if there's a concrete program that we know what we're talking about, then you can present it to somebody.
Has this gone anywhere, or this has stayed with you?
I mentioned it to somebody here that if we have something in writing, well, then they could go somewhere. But I think at the moment the idea being thrown around about this grand Siyum is a way to really at least in Lubavitch capitalize the masses. If you get all the different Chabad organization and no one can't, I don't see how someone could say I'm not signing on to a global Siyum Harambam. It would be an incredible way to finish this Totals campaign, like Leza mentioned. If you just think of what happened for the shluchim of the well, not for the Shulchan Fanash, this global Farbrengen that took place Chof Ches Nissen. If something like this for Gimmel Tammuz with the Siyum, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to get 20,000 Lubavitchers on at the same time. Incredible achdus.
So, but if we're talking about the Siyum, I think it would be important to speak to those who have been organizing the global Siyum, and it's as global as all the Torah can hold, but it's officially the global Siyum, the worldwide Siyum, but we still have to speak to them because it's a project that they have been doing, and bring it to them, let's do it together, and I can make it global. But it would be important, I think, to speak to the powers to be that have been involved in that. And this could be combined together with that Yisrael. They also always have a huge Siyum Harambam, and should combine efforts.
So that point itself, for a start, you always have America and Eretz Yisrael because it's a physical place, whether it's Alei Torah or I think in the early years it used to be in different locations. It was much bigger, but now with if you do it Hanukkah Live and do all these things, bring Eretz Yisrael and bring America, bring the whole world together for one grand Siyum.
So I think it would be good to speak to Mullah Butman, who is officially the Bala Siyumim. He's been doing it all the years, and ask him how we can help him and make it, I can bring it to a wider crowd to make it what it should be. But I think it is important not we should just start it without speaking to those who have been organizing this Yom, because it's only going to create bad blood and not accomplishing.
That's a very good point.
So
Zusha, we spoke about it earlier that we dafke want to speak to them because why should we reinvent the wheel?
Okay, obviously. So who is going to speak to whom?
Oh, you want practical stuff now?
No, not at all. Sorry, it's just.
Who has a shot with Putman?
In French, we call this déformation professionnelle. It's a kind of, have this.
Seder Olam is when there's a committee or a board and someone raises an actionable item. So then the question goes out among the members of the committee who would like to volunteer. The derech klal, the Seder is that no one volunteers, and then nominations are accepted from the floor. So people can nominate others to volunteer. So since we have a concept of Chayenu de Igris Eyu Lahavale Pravanka, so I have to nominate Reb Zusha to make contact with Rabbi Butman. But I'm afraid to say that because someone's going to nominate me to run this entire Siyum soon because I introduced the idea.
So I came with the theme of this conversation, but if it's a matter of calling Mullah Butman, I don't have a problem. I can call Mullah Butman. Fine. And but I don't have a problem calling Mullah Butman, but the question is going to be mi v'mi ahelchem.
Right, but really the right people to do this is the people who are running the 2000 campaign. This is a natural conclusion to that campaign.
Okay, I just want to say that the guys that run Chabad.org usually has amazing ability to project live. If you remember last year, they ran out of the oil. Remember the huge Zoom where every Anash community kind of was in their own Zoom room and then joined. They went live from the oil. So if America's 302 with the 2000s can maybe join up with Chabad.org, they have very sophisticated capability in dealing with the technology. And last year, Gimmel Tammuz, everybody remembers what I'm talking about when they what's it called from the oil.
We're not yet at the technical. We're not yet at the technical issues of it. First of all, I think we have to have a few people. So if we can get Shlomi from the Mashiach office with his entire backup that he has, Baruch Hashem, today, committing themselves that they want to work together with Mullah Butman in making this a global Siyum together with the 2000s and launching a new worldwide learning campaign, I think that would be beautiful. So I don't mind speaking to Mullah Butman. Who wants to speak to Shlomi and the company? You're on mute. Reuven, you're on mute.
Okay. Maybe we can have a little conference call with Shlomi. Maybe Mendy, you want to join with me? I think it'll be better.
You got it.
Can I suggest you invite Shalom Baumgarten to join you in this meeting?
No. Laser should join with us on that call.
Laser also?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to join on the call.
Guys,
Why Shalom Baumgarten to join?
Heads
Because
up.
he's
I just
involved
wanna-
in human as well.
I think Shlomi just joined us.
Oh,
Marcus Trio too.
Wonderful. So we can actually have the Zoom call right now.
It's the best. Is Shlomi, is that you?
The Wiley is somebody Arroye Veine Nire.
Yes, it's me. How are you?
Shlomi, welcome.
Shlomi, we had some really
Thank you.
great ideas today.
I'm sorry I missed it.
well, we want to first hear a report on what's going on in terms of success. We only want to hear success.
It's hard to measure success. So I don't know if you call it successful. We have right now trying to form. We need an idea of how to measure the impact because it's quite impossible. I always hear just people who are just making shiurim on their own, like they're not obviously not reporting. There's no reason for them to report. So yesterday, a guy tells me his father-in-law had a birthday party. So at the birthday party, they decided we're going to learn Malchus because that's what the whole world's doing, you know. So and then another guy says that his father has like a little bit of a koil in the morning for non-Lubavitcher guys. So for the next 6 years, they'll learn Malchus because that's what everyone's doing. Just Chayenu Abbas. Franz had a Zoom on Thursday. There's 500 people attending. In addition to all the private Zooms they have in all their private circles of the shuls, they decided to make a joint one. Russia.
How was Yossi Jacobson Shir yesterday? How well was it attended? Like the first time, 1,000 people?
No, it wasn't like the first time. No, I mean the first time was much more than 1,000. This one was probably 1,400.
Wow.
First time was 2,500.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's not attended. It's viewed b'chlal. A lot of people view it later throughout the day.
Oh.
Attended is probably like 200-300, and then people just view it later. But yeah, he's definitely probably the biggest shiur that we have. And then Melbourne just got back to me today. They're making a school-wide mitzvah. We're dealing with almost 1,000 kids because with their boys' school and girls' school, and they're doing it from 3rd grade through 11th grade. So Melbourne.
Oh.
They're making a mitzvah. So and these are just people I'm in contact with. So I have no idea. We have 60 schools worldwide doing the kids curriculum, estimated to be 3,000 kids, 60 schools. The learning curriculum is the kids curriculum is in English, Hebrew, and French. I mean, French hasn't happened yet, but that's what they want to do. JLI has been translated to 5 languages.
One second, someone told me that Russia was also doing the kids. This lady told me.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of network of schools.
Yeah. She sent me a list of like 30 meisters involved. Kids, from kids to yeshivas to shuls. Yeah. We have to find a way for people to send in pictures, to send in reports, to send in. It's a davar chitzoni a little bit, but it's very important to show the. Another news: we're having a panel, tomorrow, which you're going to see the website's coming out with an article today, featuring Rabbi Gurkov, together with Rabbi Silverberg and Rabbi Loshak from JLI. And it's bound to be a very, very interesting panel about Limud Yonah Mashiach and the impact that it has. That's the plans for now, and we're definitely open to more ideas and to see the feasibility. I mean, what was discussed? What's the direction of the conversation?
By the way, Shlomi, that's beautiful. Everything you said. I only want to say that it's not really a davar chitzoni. if it's going to help the primi. You know what I mean? Because it really could help. The getting pictures and people numbers will only encourage more people to learn.
Yeah, numbers a
The
little
Rebbe
more
once
easy
said-
to do.
I think the
Numbers
Rebbe
are
once said that publicity, advertisement, is not an accessory to the Pa'ula. The publicity in itself is a Pa'ula. The Rebbe once said, talking about
Especially here.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Shlomi, there was a whole bunch of beautiful. Blazer was sharing some incredible things that are very practical. The culmination of the Tutal's campaign, Gimmel Tammuz this year, and it's so special. But I wish you could see it. Maybe you could watch the recording.
okay, definitely.
I think that the PR part of it is what very, very helpful. What Shlomi was saying about the pictures. I mean, I heard that in the time when Mi Yehudi was a hot mitzvah, and the guys who were working on it, they made a massive publicity campaign where there was articles in the newspapers and controversial statements and press releases, and they had the place like on wheels. So I'm saying I think it's very, 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 a very important part, an ingredient in what we're doing here. And any way that people feel that they could add in publicizing or creating a promotion in a good way, I think it's another category of Hadras Melech or whatever it may be, but it's definitely, I think, a big thing.
Shlomi, do you have any ideas for after the two talks of Chas v'Shalom is still in Golos?
Saying for after Gimmel Tammuz?
Follow up, yeah, continuation. Now that you got all of Hanash excited, literally, it's the first time that wherever you go, you hear the same thing. The Malchus, this. I mean, anywhere you go, you hear it. I mean, I can tell you the Shabbos in a modern Orthodox shul, the rabbi was talking about the Malchus. So the Shabbos couldn't take a picture, otherwise I would have taken a picture, because this would definitely be beautiful. But
even for this, you couldn't take a picture?
Even
for something like this?
Chamer got from Marasayan, but so
I right now I'm in the brainstorming stage, so
okay, Laser, jump in here. You have to share what you said before.
Laser has done some brainstorming. He has some ideas.
Shlomi, remember this morning when we were texting, we were WhatsApping, we were talking about that it's going to be the end of the 40th Magal of Siyum Rambam. So it made me think that the Arboim Shana Koyim Adaita the Rabbi is coming up with regard to learning Rambam. And so I started looking at the Sichos of Arboim Shana around Yud Shvat and Tafshin Nun. And the Rebbe made an incredible us that Mashiach is mamish coming now. Literally, the Rebbe said that Moshe Rabbeinu the Nasi Adar got up and he said, "Vayihi b'arboim shana." So now at this point, it's been, I mean, that in the context then, the Rebbe's talked about the Chodesh Ashtei Yosar Chodesh because it's Chodesh Shvat, and because it was Yud Shvat at that time. So the Rebbe said, this is when the Nasi Adar says, "Penu u'su lachem." It's time to leave Golos. We're going into Mashiach now, going into Geula. And the Rebbe followed up and said that the Nasi Adar stands up and says, now is the time. And the Rebbe made a big shtudim that we're going in now to the Mesa Mashiach. And the Rebbe explained exactly why it is. The Matos Nis'ala becomes part of the Milo. The Talmud is Koya, Daita the Rabbi. He assimilated everything, not just L'Kabel Mil Milo, but to understand it Mil Mato. So it dawned on me that 40 years of learning Rambam, 40 years of learning the halacha psuka about Mashiach and Rambam, this is a major time. This is a major time for Mashiach to come. So we have so many milestones coming together. On the Yom HaGeula of Gimmel Tammuz, since Kastrama, the Rebbe has designated this Yom HaGeula. On the Rebbe's Day, Gimmel Tammuz, we're fulfilling the Rebbe's Zerah to learn Rambam. And we are excited about the Rebbe's entire passion to bring Mashiach. And we're fulfilling 30 years now of the Rebbe's Zerah to learn Sichos on Mashiach. This is a major a major day to inspire the Olam that Mashiach is coming now. And I think it's an incredible makeh b'patish of the first part of the Two Adults campaign. The first stage is that we should have another, well, I didn't actually come up with the idea, but it sort of emerged as I was discussing about the power of the day, that maybe we should have another global Zoom event, another global Farbrengen, in which we learn, we make the Siyum Rambam, and we are maskef aschala lashlam, and it can be done with a great chayas. And the main theme of it is learning in order to bring Mashiach. I mean, that's what we are doing now. Two adults erkennt, zet bringen Mashiach, bepel mamish. So that's the idea. That's the outline of the idea.
So you're talking about making a Siyum Rambam? Is this what you're talking?
Yeah.
And what was suggested before was that the people, the different speakers are all teaching the Rambam. We're going through all the halachas that there are in the last 3 prakim. But everybody, not lang drushes, just a nakuda on each halacha. We're learning it together. Doesn't have to be a 24-hour.
If there's something from the Rebbe on that particular shtickle Rambam that they're talking, there's something from the Rebbe on almost every piece of Rambam in the last 2 prakim.
The idea is a Siyum Rambam, and from this, allow into
I have to see
further learning. Somebody had suggested to learn the Hilchos Bais Habichira, connected with the 3 weeks, etc. So there should be a focus, a whole visual presentations there, which exists already online, and galvanizing and making it into, as you made this beautiful Two Towns campaign with all the backup material and so on and so forth. So the question here is about the Mashiach office working together with all the other existing Siyum organizers and making it into a beautiful event. That's the panel for tomorrow.
The idea is obviously a good one. Just we'll have to check the feasibility.
So the idea was that somebody should approach Mullah Butman, who is officially the one who does always the Siyum Rambam. We should join forces together with your office, with you, and make it, including Eretz Yisrael. Maybe we can have coming from Tveria. I mean, you guys know how to do these international link-ups and etc. And make it into like a worldwide event and inviting Rav Rosh in Eretz Yisrael, if he's a Yachsen, or somebody else of the big Rosh Yeshivas, the world also to participate in it. As originally was, the original Siyum Rambam was, they always had all the Gedolei Yisrael would participate. The Gary Rebbe once came personally. I know in Eretz Yisrael, the Gary Rebbe once came, although he wasn't supposed to come. The last minute he came, he participated, and that was thanks to Shach. If you want to have a real and a serious true miltzah de b'dichasa, I'll just share it with you. That looks like a very happy moment here. But I happen to know it from inside. There was like an hour before the Siyum Rambam. The guy Rebbe then, who was at the Leif Simcha, I think, asked his Gaber, and I think I'm quoting, Vuzuk der Alter. So he was told, I know it from inside. We have to thank him. Thank me for Yutas Kislev. So here we can thank him for bringing out this thing. But this used to be the Seder, that even in New York, there used to be all kinds of Choshev Rabbanim would come, etc. So now that it's on Zoom and make it a big huge worldwide event, Shlomi, you guys can pull this off. I guess we'll apply the Shtike Kodoidom.